It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
And welcome back to the Real Estate Breakfast for our non-stop marathon all the way around different suburbs, different cities and regional locations as we break down property in Australia for you. Always something going on, and thank you for the many emails that we get each week. A lot of them just letting us know where you are listening in the world from. We appreciate that. Don't forget, of course, you can also leave a voice message and we can include your voice onto the Real Estate Breakfast. You'll find the record button just below in the show notes. It is a Saturday, September the 27th. As we know, Sydney is one of the least affordable housing markets, not just in Australia, in the world, with more than half its suburbs out of reach for 90% of Australian households. That has just been reported from Domain. Just think about that. Half of its suburbs out of reach for 90% of Australian households. New Finder data tells us that only the top 10% of earners, and they're averaging $267,000 a year, can afford homes in 375 suburbs across Greater Sydney. Now, in prime eastern beachside suburbs and CBD adjacent areas, prices are now accessible only to the wealthiest 1% of people. For most buyers, strategies like rent vesting is the only way to secure a foothold into these areas. Let's bring in Scott Mitchell, because Scott is from a regional area. He's from Mitchell's Realty there in Queensland. And Scott, a very good morning to you. Welcome back to the Real Estate Breakfast. That story really does highlight the chalk and cheese situation to you there in regional Queensland.
It's crazy, Craig. Yeah, good morning, mate. And look, I coined this phrase a while back, and it was, how good is Hervey Bay? And that statement reinforces how good we are.
All right, well, let's talk about the buyer demand, because this is going through the roof, you were telling me off air. What is the main reason? Well, I can't really believe I'm asking you that question, having just talked about Sydney. That is one of the contributing reasons.
Yeah, look, 100%. And we've said that, Craig, on previous podcasts. Like, Hervey Bay's gem is two factors, I suppose. One is we've got one of the most temperate, fantastic climates in Australia, and it's a beautiful place just to live. But secondly, it's our affordability. We were undiscovered for more than a decade and undervalued for more than a decade. Pre-COVID, we were still selling brand new house and land packages under $400,000. But those new house and land packages today, they start around that $650,000, with our average medium sale price across the board, really for some of these new speckies, along with established homes, is sitting in that mid-sixes still today. So whilst that's a significant increase in value from, say, pre-COVID to today, it's still really affordable when you compare us with Sydney. Like, you can still buy into our market in a lovely home close to the beach for under $700,000. Although the way the market's still booming up here at the moment, I'm not sure how long that'll actually hold for.
A lot of people sort of worry about the infrastructure with some of these smaller regional areas. Hervey Bay is not one of those because of the way in which the building is taking off. For example, you've got a new major Woolworths complex that has been approved. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, this will be our fourth Woolworths shopping centre in Hervey Bay, and it's a significant development. It's going to be in Kawungan, so obviously a company as large as Woolworths looks at the demand in every single area, and they plan ahead for it. And there's a number of brand new residential estates coming out of the ground around this Kawungan and Nikenbah area. So they've positioned this centre conveniently in the centre of that new, it's almost like a brand new south distributor hub to Hervey Bay, where we're just sprawling out into what was cane fields. And this new centre will definitely be needed with the population booming the way it is.
So that is Woolworths. You touched on Nikenbah. This is a retail centre that is in the works. What's happening with regard to this one?
Yeah, there's another brand new proposal that's just gone into council. It was only discussed last week where I saw it, and it's going to be another brand new shopping centre. It's going to be positioned near what we call Springs West, which is one of our premier residential land estates, and it's just booming in both directions. It started as the Springs, and it went Springs West, and it's sort of sprawling out to Springs South and East. And there's a brand new lifestyle village has gone in alongside that as well, called Solana, which has also been very popular, I understand. So again, with all of that new housing going in, there's another new development proposal for a brand new shopping centre planned to go adjacent all of that new development. This new centre will include a brand new supermarket. They've suggested specialty stores, medical centres. It's going to have a drive-through bottle-o, a tavern, another swim school, a gym, childcare centre. So it'll be a significant development. Can't see why it won't be approved because the demand will be there to support it for sure.
So the reason that we're mentioning this is the infrastructure, the way that Hervey Bay is building up year on year. It is continuing. And you also mentioned the median house price. When we come back, let's look at the unit price for Hervey Bay and some of those movements from the median house price and unit price for 2025. We'll talk about that after this.
From the emotion of property, the economic inflation, managing your expectations, lack of stock, price growth, construction appetite, days on the market. Stay informed with us and know your property. You're listening to the Saturday Property Market Update.
Hey, it's a Real Estate Saturday. Yes, the weekend is here. It is time right across the country to get out and have a look at those properties. You might be having a look today for the very first time of some Hervey Bay properties because there is this connection. There are flights from Sydney, from Melbourne. That'll take you directly to Hervey Bay. People make a weekend of it, don't they, Scott? They come up for the weekend and they start looking around with a little bit of maybe it's a soft point of view. Let's go and explore it. They've heard us talking about it. Let's go for the weekend. Let's just have some downtime. Then once they get there, maybe that perception has really changed. Is that something that you find?
Yeah, certainly. Look, there's been plenty of people, including ourselves, that came here on vacation or holidaying and then fell in love with the location, have ultimately moved here to live or based their businesses here. And these new connecting flights, which have increased, we spoke about that a little while back. We've got the new Melbourne flights now. I believe it's 3 times a week direct into Melbourne. We've got daily flights to Sydney. We've got daily flights to Brisbane. So we're very fortunate to have that fantastic connecting flight services to those major centres. And that's also spurring on our growth and the convenience. So it's easy to pop on up here. And if you haven't been to Hervey Bay, you should jump on the plane and come and have a look and see what all the hype's about.
Now, you talked about the median house price. Let's look at the unit price for Hervey Bay and the movement that has been across the 2025 year to date.
Yeah, certainly. Like units in Hervey Bay, I think maybe in most locations, they always sit usually a little bit behind homes in value because it's a smaller product. You could buy into our market now in the 400s for a reasonable unit, an older established unit, maybe in the last 15 to 20 years, close to the beach. But across the board at the moment, our average medium sale price on a quality unit is probably sitting between $5 and $5.50. I did just recently sell one in that's a lovely complex, the Oaks building in Urangan. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit on the 3rd floor with a lovely outlook towards the Urangan Pier. And we actually had multiple offers on that unit and sold it at $550,000. And those purchasers are going to use it they were from Victoria, and they're going to use it as a holiday home or holiday unit, most likely through the winter, I would suggest. And then they'll put it in the letting pool because it was fully furnished, and they'll rent that out. So they'll be able to supplement the income and holding costs when they're not using it, and then sneak up here to escape this southern winter.
One thing that we haven't ever talked about, and I think it's probably worthwhile since we're talking about these units, a lot of the negativity right around the country that we hear people venting to us about is the cost of strata. And I'm just wondering how the cost of strata is there in Hervey Bay. For instance, have you got, low strata entry points?
It mostly comes down to the size of the complex and the amenities being offered. So on the older unit complexes where it might be anything from even 5 to 20 units, low sets, no stairs, no lifts, in a complex like that with no pools, no on-site management, the body corporate can sit between, I'll suggest maybe as low as $2,500 through to about maybe $6,000. As you add higher stories to that with lifts, pools, on-site management and other facilities for those owners and people holidaying there, the body corporate has to go up to maintain all that. So on a building like Oaks that we just discussed, you're sitting on a body corporate in there per annum of around that $14,000 a year, but it's got fantastic amenities and really good quality on-site management. So you just got to balance out where your budget sits.
Gee, 14,000. I've seen that. That is absolutely fantastic, especially the swimming pool and the way that is laid out. It's a standout quality property for sure. Now, just before we go, I want to talk about the CBD because Hervey Bay really doesn't have a CBD, but construction is set to change all of this somewhat with the Hervey Bay Community Hub.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, it was another robustly discussed development opportunities a couple of years ago, and it's been under construction now for over 12 months, but it's certainly taking shape now. There's even windows in it, and it's a great looking building. It was one of our first tower cranes in the bay for more than a decade when they started construction. It's going to really unite and create a true CBD for Hervey Bay because, as you suggested, we haven't really had one. It's good to have your CBD on Main Street. It's also not far back from the beach, and it's been a hive of activity. Like there's been over 110 guys working on site on that building. It's expected to be completed around middle of next year. It'll really unite a lot of businesses and visitors into our region. It's a quality building. It will be an asset to us going forward. And I think it's these projects that are attracting other quality developments for Hervey Bay. And with our area still being the fastest growing regional centre in the country, we need these quality developments to continue to offer the lifestyle for the people that are making that decision to come and move here.
You are the envy, without a doubt, comparing yourselves to many of these other regional areas that would say, gee, I just wish that we were a little bit more like Hervey Bay. What is not to like? All right, we'll wrap it up there. Scott, you have yourself a fantastic weekend. Thank you, on point with all of that information this morning.
No, it's been fantastic, Craig. And for those that are still thinking about maybe visiting, jump on that plane because our whale season is also in full swing. And the whale season this year has been phenomenal. So it's the best whale watching in the world. We've got some fantastic operators. Jump in a plane, come up, go and see a whale, and we'll sell you something before you go home.
Explore new property destinations where you could live with exclusive interviews covering real estate news and market insights.
The landlord is paying the agency to do their job. The experience highlighted just how disheartening Sydney's rental market has become. I can't really blame the landlord, the owner of the property. It's got to fall on the agency.
It is really disheartening and really difficult for renters, but that's pretty appalling behaviour for a real estate agent to present a premises for lease in that sort of state. And I've looked at the article as well. Pretty ordinary stuff. And I guess it sort of goes to the point of the challenges for those trying to find a rental. Essentially, an agent thinks, look, I can get away with this and rent this property out in this state given the difficulty of rental market and housing supply across the country.
If you are a property owner, doesn't matter where you are in the country, what you probably want to do is do the odd audit. And that is, when they've got an open home, go along and actually see how it is being presented.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.